Orcas, the ocean's undisputed apex predator, a sleek, intelligent hunter that commands the seas. For most other creatures in the ocean, including dolphins, the sight of that black and white torpedo means one thing: danger. The relationship has always seemed brutally simple: orcas hunt, and dolphins get hunted. It's a natural order that has held true for millennia. So why have scientists suddenly started seeing this? Orcas and dolphins swimming side by side, not as rivals, but as colleagues. They're hunting together, in the same direction, for the same prey. But this isn't the friendly team up you might be picturing. It's more like a bizarre workplace with a very clear boss and a team of smaller, more agile employees. So, what's going on here? What could possibly make these ancient rivals clock in for the same job? The answer is a complex story of power, pressure, and a paycheck that comes in the form of leftovers. The story begins in the cold, nutrient-rich waters off the coast of British Columbia, Canada. This is a legendary hunting ground, a crossroads for some of the ocean's most magnificent creatures. For years, scientists have flocked here to study the northern resident killer whales, a unique population that specializes almost exclusively in hunting massive Chinook salmon. They are masters of their craft, with hunting strategies passed down through generations. Researchers from the Hakai Institute and the University of British Columbia were tracking these whales to better understand their feeding habits. They expected to see the usual drama of the deep, but they saw something else. Something that, at first, was just an annoyance. Pacific white-sided dolphins kept showing up. Initially, the researchers thought the dolphins were just being a nuisance, maybe trying to steal scraps of fish, a behavior known as kleptoparasitism. But as they watched, they realized this wasn't random. The encounters were too frequent, too structured. They recorded over 250 separate interactions where the dolphins weren't just near the orcas, they appeared to be leading the charge. Drone footage showed the smaller, more agile dolphins zipping through the water, with the massive orcas following closely behind. This wasn't a chance encounter, it was a pattern. The observation challenged everything scientists thought they knew about the relationship in this specific population, forcing them to ask a revolutionary question. Could they be working together? And if so, who's really in charge? To get to the bottom of this mystery, scientists needed more than just a bird's eye view. They needed to see what was happening from the whale's perspective. This is where cutting-edge technology came in. The team deployed a suite of sophisticated tools, including underwater cameras and acoustic recorders attached to the orcas via suction cups. These tags, which stay on for a few hours before harmlessly popping off, created a sort of Orca TV, giving researchers an unprecedented, first-person view of the hunt. The data they collected, published in the journal Scientific Reports, was astonishing. The underwater footage showed orcas appearing to change course to follow the dolphins, sometimes diving in sync down to depths of 60 meters. The acoustic recorders picked up the sounds of both species' echolocation, the sonar they used to find prey, working in concert. It became clear that the whales might be actively listening in on the dolphins. The lead author of the study, Dr. Sarah Fortune, described the realization as incredibly exciting, stating, "To see them following dolphins as though they were leaders was really counterintuitive." It was clear this was no accident. The evidence pointed towards a coordinated, interspecies effort, but the mystery only deepened. Why would the ocean's top predator need help from a smaller animal? The answer lies in the unique skills each species brings to the table. So, is this really forced labor? Not in the way we think of it. It's a dynamic born from immense ecological pressure and a clever, unequal strategy. To understand it, you have to know how these two animals hunt. An orca's echolocation is powerful and focused, great for zeroing in on a single, large target. A whole pod of dolphins, however, casts a much wider net of sound, covering a huge area as they search for food. They are, in essence, a team of highly effective scouts. The orcas seem to have figured this out. The research suggests the killer whales may be eavesdropping on the dolphins' clicks and buzzes. They appear to let the dolphins do the hard work of searching the vast, dark waters. The dolphins spread out, pinging the depths with their sonar, and the moment they detect a large Chinook salmon, the orcas may be using those signals to move in for the kill. The whales essentially use the dolphins as a living, breathing fish finding radar system. So, why do the dolphins participate? It's not that they're being forced, but rather that it's a brilliant strategic decision. The prize here is the Chinook salmon, a fish that can grow up to 3 feet long, a perfect meal for a killer whale, but far too large for a dolphin to hunt and swallow on its own. The dolphins are experts at finding these fish, but they lack the power to finish the job. The orcas are the only ones who can close the deal. The dolphins are therefore locked into a strange and unequal arrangement. Their best survival strategy is to participate in this hunt, even if it means doing the legwork. So, the dolphins do the searching, and the orcas do the killing. It sounds like a completely one-sided deal, right? But the underwater cameras revealed another crucial piece of the puzzle. It's what happens after the kill. When a killer whale catches a massive Chinook salmon, it brings the fish to the surface and begins to tear it apart, sharing large pieces with other orcas in its pod. This process is messy, and more importantly, it sends chunks of flesh and tissue flying. And who is right there, waiting for this moment? The dolphins. Footage shows the dolphins moving in immediately after the kill, not to steal the main prize, but to scavenge the valuable leftovers. These discarded salmon pieces, too small for the orcas to bother with, are a high-energy, fat, rich meal for the dolphins, a meal they could never have secured on their own. This changes everything. It's not simply exploitation, it's a complex, mutually beneficial transaction, even if it is very unequal. Researchers saw no signs of aggression. The orcas, which are normally protective of their kills, seemed completely unbothered by the dolphins taking the scraps. It was as if this was an unspoken agreement, the payment for their scouting services. The orca gets a full steak dinner, and the dolphin gets the trimmings from the cutting board. It's a win-win, but the wins are far from equal. This fascinating behavior, never documented in this population before, raises a much larger question. Why is this happening? The answer is likely a story of intelligence, adaptation, and survival in a rapidly changing world. Our oceans are not the same as they were 50 or 100 years ago. Climate change is shifting currents and water temperatures, and crucial fish populations are under pressure. Both orcas and dolphins are incredibly intelligent animals, and they are constantly challenged to find food. This newfound partnership may be a brilliant adaptation to these challenges. By working together, both species can increase their hunting efficiency. The orcas conserve energy by letting the dolphins do the broad-scale searching, and the dolphins gain access to a food source they couldn't otherwise exploit. But there's another possible benefit for the dolphins' protection. Northern resident orcas don't eat dolphins, but another type of killer whale that shares these waters does. These mammal-eating orcas are known as transient or Biggs killer whales. Sticking close to the fish, eating residents might be a clever way for dolphins to stay safe. It's a complex web of interactions that scientists are just beginning to untangle. So, we return to our title. Are orcas forcing dolphins to work for them? The answer isn't a simple yes or no. It's not a story of a cruel boss and an oppressed worker. It's something far more nuanced and, frankly, more interesting. We started with a shocking observation that seemed to turn the natural order on its head, a top predator, teaming up with its potential prey. We explored the power dynamic, where the orcas appear to leverage their superior strength and the dolphins' superior scouting abilities. And when scientists looked closer, the real story emerged. It appears to be a strategic alliance born out of necessity, an unequal partnership where the dolphins act as radar-equipped scouts and the orcas serve as the heavy muscle. Both sides get paid, though one's salary is clearly higher than the other's. This isn't a simple tale of exploitation, but a complex dance of survival, a testament to the incredible intelligence and adaptability of life in the ocean. It reminds us that beneath the waves, there are still so many secrets waiting to be discovered, and the relationships between these magnificent creatures are far more complicated than we ever imagined. If you found this deep dive into the ocean's complex alliances fascinating, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more stories from the wild. And while you're at it, check out our other video on how some sharks are learning to hunt on land. The link is on your screen now. Thanks for watching,